There comes a moment in everyone's life when they must decide to stand up for what is right, no matter the cost. That moment came for young Ao in a way he never expected. Ao was a quiet boy, always keeping to himself in his small village school. He loved books, the scent of freshly cut grass, and the sound of birds chirping early in the morning, but for all the peace that nature gave him, school had become a place of dread. Every morning, his heart raced, and his hands trembled as he prepared to face Fola and his gang. Fola was the biggest boy in class, and he ruled with cruelty. His tall frame, loud voice, and intimidating presence made the other kids shrink in fear. For weeks, Fola picked on Ao. It started with teasing, then escalated to shoving and cruel laughter in front of others. "Why don't you stand up for yourself?" Fola sneered one day. Ao tried to avoid his eyes, but inside, a storm was raging. He hated the way his voice caught in his throat when Fola came close. The fear that crippled him made him feel weak. One day, after a particularly harsh incident where Fola had thrown Ao's books into the mud, Ao sat under a tree, feeling defeated. That's when his grandmother's words echoed in his mind. "The righteous are as bold as a lion." Ao whispered the words to himself. That evening, Ao's father noticed the change in his son. He sat with him and asked what was troubling him. After hesitating, Ao shared everything. His father listened patiently, and when Ao was done, his father placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "Son, there is a time for silence, but there is also a time to act. God does not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind." To Timothy 1:7. Sometimes, courage is not about being fearless, it's about doing what's right even when you are scared. Ao thought deeply about his father's words. He had been praying for strength, but perhaps God had been waiting for him to take that first step. He realized that courage was not the absence of fear, but the decision to do what was right despite it. The next day, Ao decided to take action, but not in the way most would expect. Instead of reacting to Fola's bullying with anger or confrontation, Ao chose a different path, one that required even more courage. He began to observe Fola more closely. It became clear that Fola's bullying was rooted in his own insecurities. Fola was always trying to prove himself to others, needing to be seen as powerful. Ao came up with a plan. He would not fight Fola with fists or harsh words. He would stand up with kindness and courage. His father had told him, "Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone." Romans 12:17. This would be his guiding principle. The following week, Fola's bullying grew worse. One day, during recess, Fola cornered Ao with his gang, pushing him against a wall. "Look at you," Fola said with a sneer, "always so quiet, always so weak." Ao's heart was pounding, but this time, he didn't feel helpless.